Hi all, we're back for another episode of Project XB. Yes, I look like a scruffy mofo, but we've scored some parts thanks to some good chums. We have a GS GT steering wheel, but work this one out. Okay, which way is the camera? Yeah. It says Lincoln Mercury. So for those people hunting GT steering wheels, not just Falcons, not just Mustangs, Lincolns as well. If you didn't know that the Falcon was probably a parts bin car where they just took bits and pieces from other cars. So we scored this. I hate the factory steering wheels, the 6-cylinder wheels, so much. I really dislike them. I think you couldn't find a better looking steering wheel to put in a car than this one. So just for shits and giggles, I'm actually going to leave the Montego center in this, not put the Falcon one in because I think it's cool. But I will put new inserts in these, which you can buy. So there's nothing wrong with the horn pad, but we've got, this wheel has had some loving. So we have some plastic glue. Well, it's actually it's like repairing bumper bars and stuff. It's like a 2-pack thing that goes hard and you can sand it. But somebody's had a fair crack at this and gouged a little shit out of the side of it too. I don't know what they were trying to do, but all I'm going to try and do is fill in the cracks and try and get this to resemble something that you might not hate having on your car. I mean, I don't care. It's still, even this one, ratty, I would drive this over the factory Povo Pack 6-cylinder wheel every day of the week. I hate the factory ones that much. But I'm just stoked I got this. So I've been given that one. All I got to do is do up a 6-cylinder wheel for another mate who wants that. Each to their own. I'm not one of those people. I was happy to do the trade. So in a couple of weeks I'll tackle tidying up a standard wheel that I've got and paint it black. And the Magic V8 pedal assembly. Surprisingly difficult to get. They never used to be. They seem to be now. I know I was not going to pay the $300 odd that a new one costs. Screw that. That is a rip-off for those people who are making and selling those. It's just a piece of metal with a little notch in the end of it. Come on. And every Falcon who that was V8 had one. So maybe you should drop it down to, I don't know, 150 probably wouldn't be too bad, but $200, $300, fuck off. So yeah, there's that. We'll just sandblast that and repaint it black and stick it in. Paint it black, put it back. We've got all our manifold bolts for the V8. They're all the inlet. They're all the exhaust. They're all going to get sandblasted, painted lovely. They're going to get blue. They're going to get probably heat painted silver. Inside the sandblaster currently is another sump. That is a lot nicer. So yeah, and the motor's off. As far as I was aware yesterday, it was sitting in a vat of acid cleaning. So it's getting, we've hit the point where we now have to basically, it's no longer a Dulux rebuild, now it's a full rebuild. So we have pistons, rings, bearings, the block's getting decked, honed, new cam bearings, the heads are going to go get done, and we have new oil pump, new camshaft, new lifters, new valve springs. Yeah. This has been a bit of a fairly expensive learning curve. But, you know, it is what it is. You just take it in your strides and make sure you never buy a good runner again. Never again. Next Clevo I buy, if it's not already suit rebuild, it will be, I will put, if someone says it's a good runner, I say, I'm not believing you until you take those caps off the bottom of the motor and show me. Or I actually see it running. Other than that, I'm not going to believe you ever. I will treat every motor as suit rebuild, and I think that's the safest way to travel. And, you know, take my advice after learning it the hard way, just do that. Alright, let's get into this wheel. Right, now, we've sanded this. It's a bit hard to show you while I'm doing it. Yeah, I have a tripod, but I think I'll just show you the way, intermittent steps, just because it's a bit easier. I dug out the shit that was in there. Didn't really stick very well, it just fell straight back out. There's supposed to be a, I think once upon a time, maybe a silver or a chrome insert that goes between the wood and the black. I don't think we're going to do that on this wheel. Just because somebody's pretty well buggered it. So I think if we just get something that's okay to hold, I think we would have done well. Just reshaped the bottom of this because it sort of went off on a bit of a tangent, exaggerated tangent. It's really had a hard life, this wheel, but I'm going to persevere and try and get something that looks somewhat decent. I'll show you the glue we've got. Rub it on the boob. It's a plastic repair adhesive, super fast. So I'm going to mix that on my bog board. Normally you have a gun that goes with these. I don't have it at the moment, so I'm just going to smush it out and just stir it up. I mean, these tips are actually, when you have the gun and these tips, because the tips are sort of one-time use only, but like in the crash shop, I mean, the consumables, so people who crash their cars pay for them. When you squeeze it out, there's little channels, and as it gets, by the time it gets out the end, it's totally mixed, which is kind of cool. I've used this stuff before, it's pretty good. It says not intended for consumer use. Oh well. For professional use only. Fuck. Oh well. This player says manufacture date 30th November 2016. I've had it a while. I hope it still works, but you're going to try and ooze that into some of the cracks, and then we'll sand them, and then maybe finish it off with a little bit of dolphin glaze to make it a bit pretty. I don't expect this to last. I expect these to crack first time I drive the car, because it's a manual steer car. But at least if it starts nice, because I'll mask up the wood. I don't know if it is real wood. Kind of looks like it's real wood, but I really don't think it is. Just seems odd. Sounds like real wood, but I don't think it is. So I'll mask up the wood, fix all the black, paint the black, unmask it, and then clear coat the whole wheel. And I'm thinking, might be not too shit. Stay tuned. So we put the black plastic glue in, sanded that, and I have put dolphin glaze on it. It's a ultra fine fill bog. I have found it has incredible like bonding abilities. You get on that skin, you can almost never get off your skin without picking it off. And I actually found it was the only bog that seemed to stick to any plastic. It really just, whatever it lands on, doesn't want to come off. I did a BA GTP rear bar, and they're made of that, it's sort of like a yellow foam plastic. I don't really know. They're really renowned for being hard to repair. And it stuck to that stuff and didn't come off. So I was pretty happy with that, and that's when I sort of realised that, no, this shit sticks pretty good. So what I've done is, please ignore it at the moment, the wheel looks a little bit bad, but I taped up the wood all the way around, and I've just skimmed the very outer edge all the way around and where all the bad areas were, and now sanding it with, it's hard to do this with the camera facing the other way, sanded it with 320 and getting it beautiful and smooth, and then I'll mask up the wood grain again, spray some primer, rub that down, and then I will mask up the wood again, and then I'll spray some just base coat black. I think I've got some, and then I will stick it on my stand, and I'll clear coat the whole wheel, and it should be pretty good. I actually thought about, you could almost, if I had it, I don't have it at the moment, because it's got that strip of, I think it's chrome strip or something. I think it's supposed to make it a bit fancy, between the wood and the black. I reckon if you got one of those pinstripe kits that you put on cars, put bodyline molds on and stuff, you could probably put one of those on and then clear coat over the whole lot, and it would probably, as long as you put enough clear on it and then rubbed it so and then polished it so you couldn't feel an edge and pick at it, I reckon that would probably work to replace that. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to see if I can make this any less crap, or at least so that when you hold it you sort of go, oh, ooh, it's lovely. Yeah, we're just trying to make something usable out of this. Yes, and I'm using the tripod because sometimes you would get a bit dizzy watching it on the camera, but that's what happens when you walk it around. So I think that's going to come up pretty good. Bit of bog dust, bit of this, bit of that. Stay tuned. Alrighty, it's not my ugly mug this time, so we've repaired all the cracks. It looks a little funny. It's taped up currently. I'm going to throw some primer on it. And then, I mean, it's not perfect by any means. I just wanted something that was a little less fucked. And I mean that in the nicest way possible. But yeah, just something a bit more presentable and smooth out all the edges because it was fairly rough and it's come out fairly good. So I'll throw some primer on that, rub it down, and we'll put some paint on it, eh? You know when you have those moments where you're like, oh yeah, that's a good idea. I was like, I'm trying to find some black base coat, and I was like, fuck, I don't have any. And I came across this tin. Ego. Yeah, we'll make it a dark grey sparkly steering wheel. If we're not going original, let's make it pretty, eh? Yeah, buddy. That'll just about wrap up this video for doing the steering wheel. And I think I made a good choice on painting it Ego. It's a bit hard to see. That's really not focusing today. You get the gist of it. It should look bloody good when it goes on the car. Yeah, now I'm kicking myself because I really wish I'd put the pinstripe in, because that would have just made it perfect. But hell, it's a lot better than it was. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. There's another one for the XB. Thank you.